They don't come right out at you and say, we're taking it from you, because they know the pushback would be immense. And Congress people do not want that. They want everything low key, under the radar, so they can scratch each other's back. They do not want controversy. That's the whole thing with the town halls. You know how these congressmen don't really go to town halls anymore because they don't want to be yelled at. And you can't really blame them, rightly or wrongly. I mean, at the end of the day, you can't blame them. They just don't want to hear it. And so what happens now, especially when you have this divided country, 50-50, you're going to have to get bipartisanship to pass any of this stuff for the most part, not all the time. Obamacare was passed without a Democrat. I think the tax cut, TCJA was passed. I don't think any Democrats signed that either or passed that. So I think you do get some partisanship, but by and large, it's all bipartisan. And you're not going to get a confiscation bill that's going to pass by one group, Democrats or Republicans. They're just not going to do it because the outrage would be so immense and the backlash would be so huge that these people certainly lose their seats the next election year. On top of that, no president's going to sign that. I mean, again, FDR he confiscated gold. That's a fact. He made it illegal. I get that. It's not like it can never happen, but the idea that they will. So let's just think about this. All right, so the tax bill. The tax deferred accounts. Roth IRA is a tiny amount relative to the tax deferred ones, which are huge. And if I saw rightly, it's like 800 billion. I don't even know how much is in tax deferred accounts. It's huge amount of money. Maybe it's even trillion. I don't know. It wasn't 800 trillion, but like 3 trillion. I just don't know. But gigantic amount of money, huge amount of money that's in tax deferred accounts, whereas tax-free accounts, Roth IRA, is just a tiny little bit, just that much in those the tax-free accounts. So if I'm Congress and I'm trying to raise revenue, am I going to go after that tiny little bit, or am I going to go after the huge immensity of the tax deferred accounts? And again, I'm not even going to pass a bill or even do legislation to say I'm going to confiscate this from you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tell people, oh, we're just going to make sure that if you're making, $100,000, $50,000 of RMD, required distributions, we're going to add another 3% tax to that. And that's exactly what they did with the net investment income tax. Again, that's a 3.8% tax increase on passive income. If you're a single taxpayer, you got $200,000 of income, you are now going to pay an extra 3.8% on your passive income, capital gains, dividends, and interest. If you're married filing jointly and you got $250,000, you're going to pay an extra 3.8% on capital gains, interest, and dividends as well. That's exactly how they do this. They say the rich people are going to pay these taxes, and they're going to pay them just a little bit of amount. It's not going to be in one fell swoop. We're going to take 50% of your account. It doesn't work like that. These guys are too smart. They know what to do. And what they do is they say, at the end of the day, we're going to need money. We're going to go after those guys over there. We're going to don't tax you, don't tax me, tax that guy behind the tree. If you ever heard that, you'll know what I'm talking about. They tax that guy. It's not you and not me. And what they're going to do is they're going to say, hey, mister, you got $100,000 IRA distributions coming out, RMD. We might add another 2% tax to that. And, that's because a vast majority of people don't have 100,000 required minimum distributions on their IRAs. They're going to say, okay, no one's going to get up in arms about that. Just like no one got up in arms about the net investment income tax, NIT. And simple, just like Social Security taxation, the alternative minimum tax, the NIT was not indexed for inflation. In fact, if you look at the legislation, it could not be clearer. It says this is not indexed for inflation. And so the people who are saying, no, it doesn't affect me today, wait 15, 20 years, man. Wait 15, 20 years. Everyone's going to be griping about the NIT, and then hopefully we'll get some kind of Congress with legislation, a president who'll say, yeah, let's get rid of this outright because it's hammering people that wasn't supposed to hammer. Social Security taxation. Remember this. In 1983, when Reagan signed legislation to grant taxation to Social Security benefits, only 50% of your benefits. Now remember, this is under a Democrat-controlled Congress. The Senate was controlled by the Republicans. The House was controlled by the Congress. It was bipartisan. But when Reagan signed that bill that taxed Social Security, only 50% of your benefits could be taxed. On top of that, you had to have more than a certain threshold of money, $25,000 if you're single, $32,000 if you're married. That's in 1983. What's that, 35 years ago? $25,000 if you're single today doesn't sound like much, but it certainly did 35 years ago. I'm just telling you right now, just go back and look at the average price of a home 35 years ago. $25,000 was a big, big deal. Very, very, very few people were taxed under Social Security benefits because it was such a huge threshold hurdle to jump over that many people did not have anywhere near the income in that to be taxed. Now you fast forward 35 years, everybody's got $25,000 of bucks essentially. Everybody does if you're single, or 32,000 if you're married. And so because of that, they're getting a whole lot more people sucked into the tax realm. And yet because it's like the frog and just warming water, people are used to it. No one's fighting about it anymore. And that's going to be the same thing with the NIAT. And it's not going to be the case with a Roth IRA, because a Roth IRA is literal confiscation. No Congress is going to confiscate your property without a significant backlash. They will do it gradually with inflation. They'll do it gradually with a slow tax to the rich guys. They'll say, hey, at the end of the day, we're going to get that guy. We're going to get this guy, but we're not going to get you, Mr. and Mrs. Middle Class. We're going to get those guys. And slowly, though, you will be sucked into it, but you'll become accustomed to it, that you'll start paying more and more taxation. And that's the way it works. Roth IRA is not like that. It's too small of a pit. It's almost like the estate tax. Everyone's up in arms about getting rid of the estate tax. The estate tax doesn't generate any revenue. It just does not. There's no revenue from the estate tax. The reason being, the vast majority of people have no estates. And so they can say, hey, we're going to get the estate tax all day long. It's not a revenue. They're not raising revenue from that. And they wouldn't do it from the Roth IRA taxation as well. They will do it from traditional IRAs, 401ks, 403bs, and TSP. And that's why I'm telling you right now, if you were smart, you'd say, what's the most likelihood they're going to go after my income? It's going to be with high RMDs, required distributions, when it hits 7.5. What's that? Man, start moving money to a Roth IRA ASAP. I'm telling you right now. Tax code is very, very beneficial for you now under the new tax law with the high standard deductions. Start moving money to Roth IRAs. I'll finish this up in a second. Thanks, actually. But a couple things. I'm having this book. I'm about ready to get done with it. It's called, I forgot the title. I can't remember what it's called, but it's all about Roth IRA. So I'm going to walk you through step by step with a Roth IRA for sure. And I'll give it away for free through EF. I'll probably have it done this weekend. In fact, I'm just waiting for a guy to finish up and I'll walk you through what you need to do with the Roth IRA. There's the tool there is, and unfortunately, a lot of people don't use it. Well, that's it pretty much. If y'all have questions, thoughts, concerns, just put them down there in the comments. I'm not sure I take comments on this live chat. I don't know how to do that. So if you had a comment and I'm not answering or something like that, I apologize. I just don't know how to do it. Maybe one of these days I'll figure it out. But I do like the live chats, actually. It's kind of fun because it's such a nice day here in North Georgia. Sun's out, a little bit still hot. You can see I'm sweating and all that. But it's such a good day. It's just a pleasant, nice wind, and it's just a pleasant time to be alive. That's for sure. So anyway, as always, if you like what you hear, hit subscribe, which I think is right there. Then hit the notification bell to be notified of for future content.